Hello friends, new week, new project. I'm going to remake something that I did several years ago after seeing a photo, several photos actually on, I believe it was Facebook, that I got really inspired by. I am going to knit, or should I crochet? No, I'm going to knit an autumn hat out of this. And I want to make one of those with a little bit of slouch, and I want to have like a brim. I'll add in a couple of pictures here so you can see what I mean. Because I've been hoarding this yarn. This is one of my own hand-dyed yarns. It's one of the first times that I dyed my autumn leaves colorway, and I saved this skein for myself. And I've been thinking about making this type of hat for myself from this yarn for the longest time. Now I did make one at least 6 years ago, I think, and it's a little bit big for me, and it's just a cream white something, you know, nothing special, but I wanted to have one in this color as well, because I have made myself several sweaters and things in this yarn, so I would love to have a hat to match as well. So that is what we are going to attempt to make this week. I don't have a pattern for it, so I'm going to be winging it all the way, but hopefully I have the skills to get this project safely from start to finish. Fingers crossed. So I found the old hat that I made. It's kind of shapeless. The brim isn't quite, I would have wanted it to be a little more, I don't know, like so. And it's a fairly simple thing. I'm going to make pretty much the same, but, oh, sorry. Dropped my knitting on the floor. I am attempting to make it, I've started here. I'm going to try to make it a little more rigid, is my plan. You see that? So I'm using 2 strands. This is a DK weight, and I'm using 2 strands, and I've started on 4.5mm needles, and I cast on 80 stitches. I measured my noggin and calculated how many stitches I needed to make it fit, and then I subtracted a whole bunch, I think like 20 stitches or something, because I want a negative ease. I want it to sit a bit tighter. This one is very loose, so I want it to sit a bit tighter. So that's my plan. That's what I'm doing. I'm working with 80 stitches and double threads, 4.5mm needles, and then I'm thinking that I'm going to switch it up as soon as I'm done with the edge here. That's kind of, you know, hugging my head, and I'm going over to the more poofy part of the hat. I'm going to switch it up to, what is this? This is 6mm needles, and I'm still doing double strands, 2 strands of yarn. So that's my plan. We shall see how that goes. Oh, put on a wintry stitch marker. Oh, there you go. Should be an autumn one, but I don't think I have autumn inspired stitch markers, do I? I don't think I do. Have a look in the webshop and tell me if I do. If I don't, I need to make some. Anyway, I have started. The project is on the way, and we'll see where it goes. Fun! Time for an update. This is where I am right now. And I've been getting a lot of knitting joy out of this project. Let's just put it like that. I first did the edge. Well, it's basically because I didn't plan properly. I just decided to wing it and just go for it, because, you know, sometimes that's just more fun. So I started off by knitting an edge that was I think like 120 or 140 stitches. It was a lot of stitches, which of course turned out to be way too big. Or actually, I didn't start with that. I started with 80 stitches. There we go. I started with 80 stitches, and then after doing the edge that is kind of, you know, hugging my head, I decided to increase 1 stitch in each stitch. And since this is knit in 2 strands of yarn, I could just split each stitch into 2 and knit each separately. So I did that, and it became enormous, gigantic, could have fit an elephant. So I had to rip that back, and then I ripped it back to, you know, I kept the original edge, and I ripped it back, and then I increased only every other stitch instead. That also turned out to be too big, and in addition to that, I realized that this edge, just keeps rolling, this bottom edge was way too wide. So I ended up having to rip everything back completely and start over from the beginning. Then I cast on, let's see, 68 stitches instead, and I increased first of all, I knit a bigger edge because I thought the first one was a bit too small. So I did a bigger edge, and then once that was done, this part, once that was done, I increased in every other stitch. And then since then I've just been knitting, and it's now measuring 12 centimeters. I did some purling here, just between the head-hugging edge and the rest of the hat. I did some purling here, and from that point I have now knit 12 centimeters. So hopefully this will be good. I look ridiculous. I look like the queen in Black Panther. She has like a head thing. Like so. Anyhow, this is where we're at right now. I need to figure out the decreases on the top, and then I need to knit this, what do you call it? Screen? I need to knit that. And after that we should be done, hopefully. Fingers crossed. So yeah, I'm going to count how many stitches I actually have on the nails now, because I haven't done that yet, so I actually don't know. And then I think I'm going to divide that into 5, and then I will decrease. Should I decrease every round or every other round? Every round, I think. We shall see. I'll attempt to divide it into 5 anyway. 5 parts, and then start doing the decreases. Hopefully that works. It's done. Finally, I guess. For such a small project, it took a lot of knitting to finish, but that's on me. That's how it is sometimes. You just decide to wing it, cast on, and go from there, and your project is the actual test to see how many stitches you need and all that. So I did mine 3 times, I think. Yeah. But it's done now. Can you see the back? It's quite poofy. I haven't blocked it yet, so some of these it will block out. It's a little bumpy in the back. And I made a little, like, I don't know what you call this piece, like a little screen. And I'm wearing it with a sweater that I made several years ago. Just a simple cropped sweater in the same yarn. But yeah, let me take this off. I wish I had longer hair. Because when you wear this and you can have your, you know, hair poke out, it looks prettier, but it is what it is. So let me see if I can show you the cast off or the decreases in the top. Something like that. See if it forms like a, I don't know, what do you call it, spiral. This is the reason why I wanted to divide the number of stitches into 5. Because if you do 4 you get more like a cross, and I wanted more of a spiral. Now I didn't have an even number of stitches. I had like 102 stitches. So I divided them into 2 parts of 21 stitches and 3 parts with 20 stitches each. And that works just fine. So I just cast off. I put in a stitch marker after 21 stitches, then after 20, next 20, next 20, and then 21 again at the end. And I cast off, or not cast off, I knit 2 together after each stitch marker, so only on one side of the stitch marker, and that will give you this pattern. Pretty! And then I picked up in the front for this, and I picked up quite far down, about here, almost down to my ear on each side. So it's a long, quite a long way, but it is not a big, what do you call this, screen? Because you start on every row, you decrease 1 stitch on each side, on each row, back and forth. So that's how you get this rounded shape. So that's it. Quick and easy project. Fun to make. Oh, guess I could wear it like this too. No, let's not do that. Like I said, I'm going to block it to even it out a little bit more. I wish I had a long hair, you know. Would be prettier, but here we are. So yeah, very happy with this. My autumn hat matches my sweater. If you're into that kind of thing. I am sometimes I'm not. Today I felt like showing off this one as well. This is just an easy top-down raglan, I believe it was. Yeah, and it's inspired by a sweater that I saw in one of the very first episodes of Friends, I think. Jennifer Aniston's character wears a white sweater like this. Yeah. And now I have a hat to match. You know, maybe I can go outside in the rain, because it's pouring down today, and you know, having glasses and being out in the rain, not fun. But now maybe I can protect my glasses a little bit. So that's it for this week's project. Quick and easy, but still a lot of knitting because I just winged my way through it. Oh, and I did have to use a little more than 1 skein of yarn. I did use a DK weight, held it double, but in the end I did need to add in a little bit more to finish off on the top and to knit this part. So it wasn't a lot, but yeah, needed a little bit extra. So that's it for this week. I don't think I'm going to start next week's project just yet. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. Today, I'm going to enjoy the rain, do some packing, all that fun stuff. So, I'll see you next time. Bye!